I take about 10 minutes.
Well, you don't. You have 8. But anyway, go on.
Well, that's very unfair to the movers of a motion, Corla. I welcome the fact that the government are not opposing this comprehensive motion dealing with one of the most pressing health and children's development issues facing the country. And I welcome the presence of both ministers for the duration of the debate and the frankness and directness of the Minister of State in responding. There isn't a single deputy in this House, Corla, who has not struggled with the most difficult and harrowing cases of children whose life chances are ebbing away for want of, in the first place, a timely professional assessment of needs, and when that unbelievably high hurdle is overcome finally, the unavailability of adequate and appropriate therapies to allow them to learn and to reach their full potential. Parents know the clock is ticking for their precious child. Each passing day and week compounds the children's difficulties and causes unbelievable stress and anguish for the parents. We all know that. We've seen it all firsthand, as the Minister of State has rightly said. So we have to solve at least the first part of that problem now. If the public system can't cope, as is clearly the case, the motion calls for the immediate provision of financial support to parents and caregivers who have no option at present other than to resort to private assessment. This can be done, as we've said, by direct reimbursement or through the NTPF. Now, the Minister has said, and it's a high commitment she's made, that if it's not done, it's going to be done in the budget, or she's going to bring it to the budget. I hope now that ministers responsible for the budget hear that, and that is done, because it absolutely has to be done. I recognise the second hurdle is a difficult one to resolve. The establishment of Children's Disability Network teams has been a wonderful initiative. Across the country, in each of our constituencies, those teams dealing with children is a marvellous initiative, if the teams existed. But the teams don't. The problem is finding the staff and the specialties that are required. And the list of children awaiting appointment for therapy is just simply shocking. There's no other word for it. And all of us are in touch daily with those teams, with the administrators trying to find therapists. Each of our local teams are desperately dealing with waiting lists and trying to recruit. In some instances, the pressure of work is actually driving out those specialists that we have. So the situation is actually getting worse because of the stress and pressure on those that are working in the teams for lack of a comprehensive plan to have a fully recruited team. And we have to resolve this recruitment issue. At the same time, to radically increase the training places and courses for the next generation of specialists. Let's plan for that now by radically increasing the numbers we are training. We need to have a fundamental look at professional training and professional registration in this country. We need to remarkably increase the numbers, and that's a simple fact. And to remove the barriers, both to maximising training of those who are needed and for the recruitment of specialists abroad. I want to just, in the minute or so I have left, to give you 2 brief examples. We have a chronic shortage of nurses, and yet those nurses trained and qualified in Queen's University in Belfast no longer have an automatic entitlement to registration with the Nurses and Midwives Board. I put out a parliamentary question on the issue, and it's because apparently of Brexit. Those who are trained have to go through another series of hoops. Well, Australia is knocking on the doors with all sorts of inducements. We have to fix those problems. I spoke to a dentist last week. We have a chronic shortage of dentists. In terms of recruiting foreign EU dentists, he said he, as an Irish-born dentist, wouldn't pass the language test to be a dentist in Ireland. Let's resolve those issues and get the specialists we need. I hope this motion will not be another one in the series, and we put down 3, plus legislation that's been referenced by others, that this will be a cathartic day, and I hope it will be from what the Minister of State has said, and that there is real hope for those families who are in desperate need, who feel right now that they're crying in the wilderness, and left to deal with their unimaginable burdens alone and unanswered by the state.